Good evening, everyone. This is the March 23rd, 2022 meeting of the Auburn Conservation Commission. This meeting is being operated as a hybrid or remote, if 100% remote format under Chapter 22 of the Acts of 2022. The public can join the meeting remotely by telephone, dialing 1-408-750-3123 and using the access code 942-845. 549, or the public can join via computer at global.join/942-845-549. So all supporting materials for tonight's meeting have been provided to members of our commission, and these are available on the town's website. And the public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Michael Garland, and I'm chairman of the commission. I'm going to do a roll call of people of members to make sure people are here. So when I call your name, please answer in the affirmative. Tom Fallon?
Here.
Kathy Northburg?
Here.
Megan Lang?
Here.
Patrick Cunningham?
Here.
All right. Getting kind of a weird echo. In any event, we do have a quorum, and I'm also going to call the names of town officials and employees participating. So when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Building Commissioner Caleb Mooney.
Here.
Assistant Town Clerk Ginger Butow.
Here.
And congratulations to Ginger on promotion.
Thank you.
And Principal Clerk Keith Heselton.
Here.
All right.
Here.
Oh, and joining us in the nick of time is Michelle Cole. All right. The first item on tonight's agenda is a 7 p.m. public hearing. Jeffrey Jazz and notice of intent to construct a 28-foot 6-inch by 13-foot 3-inch single-story attached addition at 5 Willow Street in Auburn, Massachusetts. For those of you that may be here for that matter, Mr. Jazz has requested that the public hearing for his application be continued. And so we are inclined to continue it to our next meeting, which will be on April 13th, 2022. Would that be at 7 p.m.? Keith?
Yes.
Okay, so is there a motion to continue the public hearing for Mr. Jazz to 4/13 at 7 p.m.?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right, it's a vote. We have a couple minutes before our next public hearing. I'm going to take something out of order. So we have received a request from the Department of Public Works regarding not necessarily a repair, but a removal of debris at Eddie Pond Dam. So Eilish Corey sent an email to Caleb Mooney actually this morning around 9 o'clock. And she provided some pictures. Apparently there has been a buildup of logs and debris at the top of the spillway for Eddie Pond Dam, and it poses a safety issue. So DPW would like to go in and clear out the debris using a mini excavator. She's indicated that all work would be done from the banks of the dam. So I'm going to pass around these so you can take a look at them. See if you can open them. Thanks. So Patrick and Megan, I don't know that you can see these. I don't think I can show them to you unless they've been posted online, and perhaps they have been.
We can't open the one.
Okay, that's
the email.
fine.
Sorry.
So in any event, what the images show are literally debris and logs that that have collected at the top of the spillway. And I think there's a concern that if they are not removed, it could result in the impounded water being released all at one time, and that could cause some real problems. I think based on the images and also the request from DPW, I'd be inclined to grant the request to go in there and do the work according to the terms that they set forth to do the work. So, is there a motion?
I make a motion, we allow the DPW, Town of Auburn, to do the work and remove it from the banks of the river with the machine.
Okay, at Eddie Pond Dam.
With
Okay.
any pond dam.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right.
I'm sorry, I couldn't unmute myself fast enough, but could I, what are the terms that were set for?
Okay, I can barely hear you, Megan. What I can tell you is that there's debris and logs that have built up at the top of the spillway. It's the opinion of the DPW that it's posing a safety issue because if the debris breaks loose, it's going to release impounded water that could potentially cause some sort of flooding issue, erosion, or other damage.
I think she's looking for the terms on how they're getting in there.
Okay, thank you. So the terms would be that they would do all work from the banks of the dam using a mini excavator. It sounds to me like this is a project that would probably take a day and probably less than a day to complete. So did I answer your question?
I guess so. If there were any restrictions on what I haven't read the document yet, but if there's any restrictions on how they need to access the area or where they can have equipment.
If there's any restrictions on where they can have equipment or how they get in there.
I think what we can do is they can certainly use best management practices. It seems to me that they have indicated that they would do the work from the banks of the dam. And I think, again, it's a question of basically plucking out the debris and the logs. What I can do, Megan, I think it's a legitimate question, is to have a conversation with Ms. Corey tomorrow. But I presume what they would do is they would go ahead and use best management practices to do the work. So what we could do is this. We could, if you are so inclined, we could grant their request to do the work and then put in as a provision that they do it with minimal impact to the waterway and the dam and using best management practices. Would that satisfy your concern?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to take Tom's motion as amended. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any more discussion? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Hi.
Okay, it's a vote. Keith, pass that back to you.
Thank you.
The next item, the next matter on our agenda for this evening is the 7 to 5 public hearing. Donald Miller, a notice of intent to replace an existing failing cesspool with a new leach field at 401 Lester Street. Is there a motion to open?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Is there any discussion? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Okay, it's a vote. Is Mr. Miller here, or one of his representatives here? Okay. Well, if no one is here to present this project, we will move on, and we'll see if someone appears later. We did not get any email or notice from Mr. Miller about his non-attendance.
None.
Okay. As it so happens, it's 7:10. The next matter on our agenda is an application by Stephen Wyden for a determination or request for extraction of applicability to preserve the Auburn High School Green Dome at 99 Auburn Street. Is there a motion to open?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, so vote. Is Mr. Wyden here as someone on his behalf?
Yes,
Hi, and who are you, sir?
Steve Wooding,
Oh, Whitten, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Good evening, sir.
thank you.
So tell us what you want to do.
Yeah, you can sit at the
You sit
table. if you
right
want.
here.
I didn't know it was going to be the highlight of the evening. Yeah, basically, if you looked at, there's a historical context to the Auburn Green Dome. It was the original Green Dome, part of the original high school built in 1935. So when they built the new high school, when they demolished the original high school, they removed the Green Dome. It's been left outside for the last, years or so. We took it upon ourselves to make an effort to, because it's already been placed, behind the high school in a permanent location, to try to preserve and maintain, the Green Dome in its original perspective, for here on in perpetuity, hopefully, and just so everybody in the town can, kind of view it and look at it in terms of its historical, value to the town and the importance that it's had for all us that graduated from the high school as an Auburn dandy.
Certainly. So how do you propose to preserve it?
So right now, we're in the process of, contacting, de-letting experts. I've already, downloaded the list of all certified de-letters in the state of Massachusetts. So we'll, contact one, get an approval, to move ahead with that particular contractor. We also made sure that they would follow the required RRP, guidelines that are required for anything, quoting de-letting, renovating, repairing, and, painting, that kind of a structure. Then we've also had an extensive, fundraising process. We've, generated quite a bit of interest in the town. We've, met with, local, vendors in town and, businesses. They're fully supportive. We've had a lot of efforts by some of the, Jackie Walsh and Chris Miller, here also on the, committee to, gain additional, funding. We're working with the Auburn Historical Society as well to make sure that, we do that in context, with their efforts as well.
Okay.
Yep.
So the reason you had to file is because you're obviously within our jurisdiction.
Yep.
If I understand what you're saying, the work that will be done will be on-site, obviously
On-site.
where the dome
Correct.
is located now. I presume that if de-letting is involved, that whatever contractor you hire
Yep.
will use the necessary precautions to
Absolutely.
ensure that
Yep.
lead doesn't get into the environment or the wetland
Yep.
area. Is that
Yep.
fair?
We even requested they do it on a, less windy day to make sure that any particles that are being taken off, don't blow, into the stream or any, surrounding area around the, the Green Dome.
So how close are you to actually hiring a contractor to start that work?
Well, we're in the process of, contacting them. Well, hopefully we'll have some in the next, couple of months to proceed. I don't have an exact date, but certainly I can contact, you folks in the Conservation Commission if needed to the actual start date. And would you like to know who the, the vendor is that's the contractor to, or?
I'm going to make a suggestion to you,
Yep.
sir. I think, and
We're new with this.
no, and that's fine. And again, we appreciate the fact that you file with us
Yep.
because there are parties that don't file when they should file.
Okay.
And we do appreciate your
Okay.
participation. What I was going to suggest is that when you're ready to actually hire someone,
Yep.
and when they provide you with a scope of work,
Yep.
I think at that time notify us, and then we'll just add you to our agenda for whatever meeting that's going to be. Because at that time, the contractor can come in, they can explain what they're going to do,
Okay.
what steps they're going to take to make sure that no lead particles get into the wetland area, the waterways there,
Yep.
and what steps they're going to just take to make sure that there is no escape of lead particles into the air, that sort of thing.
Okay,
So, with your permission, Mr. Whitten, what we'll do is we'll just continue this generally.
okay,
And then when you're ready to, or when you've gone through the process of hiring someone, let us know, we'll add you to our agenda, and
Okay.
we'll have I think a pretty expedited
Okay.
hearing.
perfect. Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
We're just moving right along to the next item on our agenda is 7:15 public hearing Graves Engineering, a notice of intent to improve a parking lot at 35 Swanson Road. Is there a motion open?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And it's a vote. Is there someone here on behalf of Graves Engineering?
Yes, good evening.
Good evening. Please, sir, have a seat.
Sure, thank you. Hi, I'm Ron Mendez from Graves Engineering, here on behalf of the Auburn School Department. I guess basically the project, what they're looking to do is that they'd like to repave the existing parking lot at the school. Pretty much just remove the existing surface material and put in new material, repaint the lines, and also in doing so they'd like to relocate some existing garbage dumpsters, relocate them, in this case so they're out of the 100-foot wetland buffer. That is pretty much, and then and then also as part of that project, or that phase of the project, they'd also like to expand the playground area that's to the east of the school building, simply just to provide, I guess, a bigger play area for the students. The second phase of this project will be the construction of a new parking lot with an associated walkway and a driveway. This will also require or entail the construction of a bio-retention area to the east of the parking lot. This, I guess, when shown on the plan, is really on the right side of the page or to the easterly side of the property. And I guess that's pretty much the scope of the project.
Okay. So it's going to be done in phases, is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. And, I know I've walked the site, and confirm where the wetland flags were located. It seems like a very straightforward sort of project. Do you have any comments?
You're gonna take out some of those trees too?
Yes, that would be part of it because in order, I guess, to accommodate the new location for the concrete, for the garbage dumpsters, we have to build a new concrete pad. So it's about a 15 by 25 size pad. And yes, it would entail removal of a couple of trees.
Michelle and Alice and myself went a couple Saturdays ago and looked at it, and a gentleman from the school department.
Yeah.
Yep, this gentleman over here.
Hey.
So he kind of gave us a little
Hey.
bit. We had the map, took a
Okay.
walk, and it looked pretty straightforward. So
There was like some debris over there that probably is gonna be cleaned up when you do some of the work. Like it looked like behind the dumpsters going down towards the,
Yes.
during the, like, the water, it's probably gonna be cleaned up.
Yes, that's the
sooner
idea that we
rather
can
than
sort of,
later.
do away with being out of, I guess, within the buffer and improve some of the stuff there.
Yeah. So that can stay away from the water.
Yes.
Okay.
Sir, would you like to be heard?
I'm good.
Okay.
No, you pretty much said it all.
Okay.
You did. You're right. We are removing a couple of dead pine trees that are in the corner there, and I know there's some concerns about replacing, obviously putting new trees up, which we certainly will. We've kind of been really putting like arborvitaes around the backside rather than just see a fence looking at it from the inside of the school. So we'll neaten it up the best we can and plant some trees where we can.
Awesome.
And sir, can we just have your name for the
Sure.
record?
My name is Joe Fahey, Facility Director for the schools.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Fahey. Appreciate the comments.
Thank you.
If there are no other questions, is there a motion to close?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Aye.
All right. It's a vote. All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Fahey. And with any luck, we'll have an order tonight for this evening.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate that.
The next item on our agenda is a 7:20 public hearing. EPT Environmental Consultants, a notice of intent to construct a single-family house at 54 Prospect Street. We received a request to continue the public hearing from Mr. Grabowski, and he has requested that it be continued to April 13th. So aside from the jazz matter at 7 p.m., do we have anything else scheduled for the 13th? Keith?
As of yet, no.
Okay.
Yes,
We do?
yes, there was one taken in before I left. So
That can be at 7:15, it's not been scheduled yet, right? Hasn't been advertised.
it
That's
has
what I
not
just-
been advertised, so you've got one other one.
All right, so can we put on 54 Prospect at 7:05? 7:10?
Yeah, and then the new one can be 7:10.
Why don't we do it 7:10 then? Is there a motion to continue?
Make a motion, we continue the hearing to 7:10 on April 13th.
Okay, is there a second?
Second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, it's a vote. We have other matters on our agenda for this evening. But I see we have some gentlemen in the audience. Sir, can I ask you gentlemen what you're here for?
I'm here for 104 South.
104 South Street, okay. And
190 Washington Street, sir.
aha. Okay, yeah, we're gonna get to you. So, all right, so we had done some sidewalks over the last few weeks. So why don't we go through what we did go to and see how much ground we can cover.
Okay.
All right, so I don't think we went to 23 Brook Street, did we?
There was the house, we cut across at the Fullers, and my Google took us around by the Sportsman's Club, and then we went over.
Oh,
And it was a house that was just built that still needs to get some issues addressed.
Thank you, that's right. So we actually met with Mr. Mohammed at the site. The backyard, the house is built, the backyard has not really been, is not completed. It looks like there might have been an effort to seed it, but if they did, it
It
didn't
was
take.
too late in the season, right?
So there's going to be some grading done. In addition, there's a filtration system that I don't think has been completed. So we advised Mr. Mohammed that after the work is completed, we will go back out there to consider giving him a certificate of compliance. So we'll just continue that generally. With respect to Ecotech and 1 and 3 Women's Bailey Road, we went out there. The wetland area was stabilized. The work that was done appeared to be in compliance with the as-built plan. And so I think based on what we saw, it appeared that we are in a position to issue a certificate of compliance for 1 and 3 Whitman Bailey Road. So is there a motion?
I make a motion that we issue a certificate of compliance for 1-3 Whitman Bailey Drive.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second is Pat.
Okay. Is there any discussion? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right, it's a vote. Okay. The next item is 68 Burnett Street, John Dowd. Any comments?
Other than this work was done a long time ago, and we walked through the back and everything looked like it was pretty stabilized, so.
Exactly. Okay.
Okay.
August 29th, 2006 is when.
There was also the matter of the landscaper bins in the far back we were going to include with the certificate.
Yes, that's right. So, okay. Does someone want to make a motion? Patrick?
Motion to issue a certificate of compliance to 68 Burnett Street with the stipulation that they remove the landscaper bins from the wetland.
Okay, so the issuance of the certificate of compliance will be conditioned on them removing those bins, correct?
This is correct.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Whitman Bailey Road?
Yeah.
You had two different ones for Whitman Bailey. You only signed up for one, you only did a issuance for one of them.
That's right. Because I'm not certain what the other one's for.
So, let me pull up. Oh, come on.
Top of my head, Michael, I'm guessing it's for the subdivision itself.
the initial would be my guess. If
Yeah.
there's no address attached
And I
to
think,
it.
Right.
I think we're gonna have to go back out there and just take a closer look.
Probably the original filing from the
Yeah,
subdivision.
okay,
Yeah.
Definitely.
all right, so we will,
Continue that one.
yeah, continue that one. Mr. Baker, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
I can hear distance. So in any event, sir, what we'll do is, why don't we continue the hearing on your request for a certificate of compliance to April 13th? Right now, we have, I think, 3 matters on. We will probably get through them unless something unusual happens by 7:30, and then if you can join us around 7:30, we will have had an opportunity to go out there and we can, act on your request for a certificate of compliance, if that's okay with you.
Sure is. I appreciate it.
All right, you're welcome. Going back to Leicester Street utility maintenance, we did get a letter from National Grid, I remember seeing it. It's routine maintenance, right? Correct?
Yes,
Yeah, she has it up on the screen now.
All right,
utility maintenance.
1 pole. And frankly, this is just to give us notification. There's
Yeah.
nothing really for us to
No,
do.
it's just a notice.
So, okay, that's fine.
Or a replacement of 24 poles,
Oh, 24 poles.
24 poles.
I see pole 92.
I think the location might change on one.
Oh, I see now.
Yeah, it's giving you, they've given you different streets. 1 pole on Leicester Street. And then there's replacement 24 poles.
I see that.
Didn't they come in to talk to us about them?
Oh, they did 24 poles on 4/20/2020. I remember that.
So these are different poles? I
Yeah.
presume?
Yep.
See, that was,
I think they talked to us about
they
that.
did actually.
I think they did 24 polls and they have one more to do and they're notifying you that they have to do one more than they spoke about originally.
Right.
That's
And
what
that
that
must be pole 92.
Yeah,
And
you were correct in the 1 poll.
All right, okay, fair enough, that's good. The next item I have is Agolitis Energy, 476 Leicester Street. I was not able to attend the sidewalk, but I know several members of the commission did attend, and I know Allison took pictures. And I understand that things do not look good there.
We have those on the screen.
So, we have actually had discussions with them. We've had, actually issued an enforcement order to these people because there was debris, tires and other debris, very close to the wetland, and the streams. Also, some of the erosion control measures had not been, were not stabilized and had not been put in place. And it appears that the condition has only gotten worse since the time we were out there. I recall that when we issued, my memory is that after we issued the enforcement order, they did attend our public hearing, and I forget when that was, but
or was it that long ago?
January, February?
Yeah, we were in that other room
Right.
when they attended,
And
so
I thought-
February.
Yeah, so
made it very clear
this is
what
Tom
we
Donaldson
needed
from
them
Jill
to do.
Tesson.
And they haven't done it. In fact, the conditions there are just.
No, they said that it was stabilized and that it was gonna be done.
They got most of the debris out. The only thing that was really in there is like the screen, the socks there. And honestly, I don't want them to take these out because as you look at the conditions of the runoff, this is actually keeping some of the runoff from that road from going into the brook part here because it was just a mess.
Well,
It was pouring out by the time we got up there and,
they have not stabilized the road.
no, the road
You've got
is.
siltation going into the catch
In
basins.
fact, the picture of the catch basin is further down the street. The one at the very bottom it doesn't even, the water just jets right down that road, Leicester Street.
Right.
And then it hits the other one, and it was completely fines of very dark, murky water.
Is there anyone here on behalf of Agolitis Energy?
Hi, yes, this is Tom Panofsky from Jill Tesson. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you, but not very well, sir.
What's that thing?
That thing's not on.
Is that better?
That's not on.
That's not on? Okay. So, sir, I think you've heard what we've had to say, and frankly, this is not the situation we expected. In fact, it's gotten worse since the last time you participated, you meaning Agilent Energy participated. And I don't know what sort of explanation you can provide to us, frankly, but this is just unacceptable, sir. And we have the power to fine you for non-compliance. And I think we're getting to the point, at least, and I'm only speaking for myself, but the conditions, the road is clearly not stabilized. We will share the images that we have, and if you've been out there, you know that the situation has not been taken care of. So what are you going to do about it?
So since the last time we did speak, we did take all of the debris other than the silt socks, these green silt socks, out of all of that area. So we have removed all of the debris that was in around that bridge and down that slope line. We also did establish the fence that goes around the perimeter of our site. I thought that was one of the original concerns, so that has all been taken care of. Obviously, looking at the photos, I do see that there are issues at our street entrance, especially. So we will go out there this week and we will take care of it.
You're going to take care of it?
Yeah, right now it's wide open. There's a couple of hay bales at the bottom. There's supposed to be checks, and the water just goes right around them. I mean, it's not anything.
Mr. Godomsky, this is what, and again, I'm just speaking for myself, but I think we want to see a plan of what steps you're going to take to remediate these problems. And when I say a plan, I mean a written plan, sir, not your representations that you're going to do it. There's serious erosion taking place at the site. It's getting into the catch basins. The siltation is unacceptable. So we want a written plan before you do any work. We want to see a written plan of what you're going to do to stabilize the situation so that it doesn't happen again. And so at least that's going to be my recommendation. We'll take a vote on it. In fact, is there a motion?
I mean, at this point, our meeting isn't until like the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
And that looks like it's a bigger problem.
It's a major problem. I have a video here because we don't have a camera, or I'd show it. It's a big file. I couldn't share it with everybody. But it's from the top of that road driving down, and we see the amount of water sheeting down this road. These pictures don't do it justice. There was a lot of water.
So, Mr. Godomsky, what I'm going to suggest, and again, this is with, we'll take a vote on this, but my suggestion would be that you get out there, you take care of these problems immediately, and then you submit a plan to us of the work you've done. And in the meantime, we'll go between now and April 13th, which is when we'll continue this. We're going to go out there to see that you've made, that you've complied with what we've said, okay? In fact, I'm going to be asking for a motion for an enforcement order to be issued along the lines of what we've been talking about. And sir, we want to see results, and we want to see them immediately. And I will tell you that if the situation is not significantly improved by the time of our next meeting, we have enforcement authority, including the issuance of fines. And I think at this point, that's something we could very well consider. So, is there a motion to issue an enforcement order?
Make a motion, we issue the enforcement order.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. And Mr. Godomsky, just so we're clear on this, we want you to go out there, stabilize the site immediately, and then submit a plan to us, a written plan from an engineer showing us what you've done. And in the meantime, we will go out there before our April 13th meeting, and we'll continue this to April 13th. Do you have any questions, sir?
Not at all. We'll take care of it.
If you could put silt socks in those catch basins, the one in the immediate down gradient of the road, at the road, and then further down the road, I believe there's at least 2 of them, there may be 3. And if you could do that like right away, that's a standard thing that should be done anyways, but there weren't any in place.
You're asking for silt socks around?
At the on the road part, actually, on Leicester Street. And I don't know how you do that because it's off your site, but the thing is because that water is running down the hill, maybe you need to talk to Auburn DPW, but there you go. We have a picture here. You can see it running in. So any of those drains that they have in water should have silt socks. That's usually during construction. And this is where the site's supposed to be completely finished and why we're addressing our concerns here tonight.
Understood. I'll reach out to the DPW.
Okay.
All right.
I just have a question. So it appears the road is just like dirt and gravel now. Is that right?
So there is a paved entrance, and there was an issue with that pavement over the winter, where part of the pavement broke, and so the asphalt had an issue. So we're going to be cleaning that up as soon as the asphalt plants open up. We'll cut across and repave that initial. I think it's between 20 and 40 feet from our site to the street, and then going up the road, we will also clean up that road, and we'll clean up the dense grade material that's on the road up there.
Okay. So the actual repaving, like the permanent fix, would.
Megan, I think.
Thank
can
you.
you
Sorry,
complete your question?
I was. So the permanent fix on just like paving that part of the asphalt that was impacted. When would that be? Like about what time period?
I'm hoping for mid to late April, but it may be early May depending on the asphalt companies.
Okay. That's all.
All right, Mr. Godomsky, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
The next item is 190 Washington Street.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
So we went out there on Sunday, and in the area of the detention basin, or the proposed detention basin, you have serious siltation issues.
Yeah.
What do you know about it?
Which detention basin?
This is the one. I have to ask you.
I'm sorry. I mean, I can speak generally overall on the site. I mean, all of our stuff right now, we're currently doing our best practices as we can with, if you've seen, you went out there, I presented the plan to you last time showing I have had hydrogas technologies out there. You must have seen the flock lock we have in place.
Show me the pictures.
Yeah.
They're right on the screen.
Yeah.
Your last visit. These are from the latest visit.
That's like a pit right there to the left of the detention basin that we're looking at on the screen, and it's completely full of like silt,
Yeah, no, I know.
sand, like a lot.
So I think we have stuff in there. We're actually, that's down behind, on the bottom of the slope.
That's right.
Where the secondary barrier we put in there because we had some issues there. And on the back side of that, I believe you see, we also put in some hay walls in back there with the crystals from Hydrogas Technologies and hope to minimize that. Our goal over the next month is to stabilize that whole side. Fortunately, we had, like when last time I was here, we had all the frost and then the rainstorms and everything. It just inundated everything. I mean, it wasn't just here, it was everywhere. I'm sure just like on the last pictures we've seen from the last company that was up here. Everything went into a defensive mode. And we've tried our best out there. We're currently working it on a daily basis. If you look out there, any day you drive out there different times, you'll see different things we're doing.
There's also an issue with the dirt piles, and they didn't appear to be stabilized to us.
I can tell you I had sprayed from Hydrogas, and did I just see it in here somewhere? I had Hydrogas out there, they sprayed piles. One up along Route 20.
Right.
That has been sprayed, and I think we even sent over pictures when that happened. I sent aerial, we drone our area quite frequently. So it has been sprayed with Tacify on there. I'm hoping they're not gonna be there for all that much longer, and that whole area up top, once we complete, there's the rock slope there, all that loam there is gonna get laid out in there and sprayed. Unfortunately, right now it's so wet.
So the rock slope, it looks like it's a 1-to-1 slope. I mean, it's a very steep slope, and I think, just looking at it, we had some concerns about it maybe washing out. If there was a heavy storm event, that you might get some, it might undermine the stone wall that you're putting in there. That's just an observation, sir.
Okay, I'll bring that up and I'll talk with
So with regard to the siltation at the bottom of that slope, what steps are you gonna take to get rid of it?
I mean, I can shovel it out for now. You know,
I mean,
I'm just worried if I get too close there with machines up top right now, you know, I could create more of a mess, so.
I think the problem is that, given where it's located, I think getting a cat in there is gonna be.
No, I'm not saying, I think a lot of it's gonna be hand work, I'm sorry.
So
I mean, but to get it out of there and not
I
the
don't
hill,
think
so
the
that's
person
what I'm
or
saying.
people that need to do that, because it looks like it's pretty extensive.
That's on the agenda, so.
I think that there was one catch basin that actually had something in it too. Was there one that was like actually had,
Sure.
there's one of the catch basins that actually had, yeah, this one. Like, what is that?
Oh, that's a silk
That's
sack.
a silk sack.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's actually missing one. I know it's in there now, but I'm sure the guys go around and clean them out
Okay.
and put them back periodically, but I don't know why. You know, you can only, unless you're doing things yourself, you can only, not to pass the buck, but.
And I think that there was like, the porta potties that were really close to the wetland too.
What is the minimum?
Well, it wasn't so
distance?
much the porta potties, it was they had 2 cans of diesel under the trailer.
That's what
It was like right where the blue flags are, I mean, right there.
Those aren't mine, so I
And
don't, it's not
So
mine.
now that's the new company, right, correct? That took
Yeah,
that
but
over?
I'll talk with
Okay,
them.
yeah, because they need to get that dumpster like away from that, and they know better, Phil, I mean, that's
All right, yeah,
just.
no, I'll talk.
I know they put it there, and why, because of the way the concrete, but it's like you can't,
I
they
couldn't
gotta put
remember
it
what
away.
was. I just remember
But what
seeing
is,
that.
I mean,
It
you
was
said
a
porch-
dumpster, it was 2 cans of fuel, and it was a generator. The generator didn't have anything under it, even like, you know, a silt sock, something around it just to contain
Just to
something.
contain it in there.
Yeah.
Now, what is the, I mean, you said portage, is there a minimum distance? I mean, a septic system's 50 feet, right, from, you can
I
have,
mean, I would say try to get it at least, because it was right, I mean, they had it right there, like you could see the blue flags and it was there. And I know that the wetland is upland of it, but it's still just being that close, at least probably to the other side. Let's say the other side of the paved area, like opposite the trailer.
like over near my rocks.
Yeah, like just,
You know?
just so it's away from that side. That was like the biggest concern. The first thing that came up was like, wow.
Yeah, this one,
Yep, there it is.
yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
I'll
just
tell him he's
doesn't
gotta
have
move it, or
Okay.
contain it, you know?
Okay.
So what's your timetable? When do you think you're gonna be done with your site work?
Up there, during summertime.
Okay. So when will you be able to remove the silt issues?
The silt issues in the wet areas, I mean, I'll send some guys out there next week and start shoveling some of it out of there, and I'll try to get as much as I can, and this will be an ongoing project, but we're not trying to not do anything,
No,
we're
I
trying to
understand
do the
that.
right things.
But I mean, again, obviously rain is something that we have to anticipate.
Yeah,
And we need to just make sure the site's stabilized and that the silt doesn't get into the wetlands.
Yeah.
So, and if there are any fences or siltation measures that you think need to be restabilized, then go ahead and do it.
I know we did a bunch today, anticipation for tonight's storm and Saturdays as well, so.
All right.
But it's an ongoing thing, and we're
Is the
not,
rest of that large riprap that's up on the hill gonna?
That's
finish
for the
that
rest
off,
of that
the whole rest
slope,
of that? Yeah, I mean, it's pretty it's pretty steep,
Yeah.
but it's stabilized at least, you know?
yeah, exactly, and that's the problem, is if we
Now,
go over there
When
now, we
they,
could
when they
create,
build that, is an engineer like oversee that as far as like trying to figure out, making sure it's not too steep?
making sure
of a
it's
grade?
right, yeah.
Yeah, because that, we're like saying that was a pretty steep grade, definitely. Reminded me of like a small version of Millbury, you know?
Oh, yeah, no, it was definitely steep. All right, so what we'll do is we'll continue this to our next meeting. I think we'll, go out on Saturdays, as you know, and probably take a look at the next, probably not this Saturday, but before the next meeting on April 13th to see what sort of progress you
All
made.
right, should I come in April 13th? And
You don't have to. I mean, we'll
It's up to
see.
you.
Let's see.
Let me know.
Will.
But I will say the last time I got your email, it went to my junk mail. I got it at 10 o'clock on Saturday.
It wasn't from me.
They came from the
No.
office here and
It was me. For some reason, I got a bounce back stating that my mail was spam to all three of them. To
yeah.
all three of the people.
Well, I assure you it's not.
No, and I even responded to one of your emails
Yeah,
from you guys, and it came back as spam. So I don't know what was going
I
on
mean,
with the
feel
email
free to
that day.
call. I mean, even if you guys all show up on site, you have my number. Give me a call. I live in Connecticut, but I'll gladly drive up.
Maybe you
know?
need to adjust your spam filter.
You know what? With all this, with everybody stealing identities right now, my company doing that is really.
All right.
I try to whitelist stuff, but it just keeps going.
All right, fair enough. All right, thanks for coming in tonight.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Want these back? Have a good night.
Thank you too.
Bye-bye.
And then,
Night.
I believe Mr. DeFutis is on regarding a complaint for 179 Rochdale Street. Mr. DeFutis, is that true? Are you here to join us?
I am here. I am more here I was gonna leave the Rochdale Street in your hands. I'm more here for the 10 Rotary Road. I just wanted to update you on the surveyor was here today doing the site work, and he's going back to put everything in the computer. He said he should have something before the next conservation meeting where I can submit on all the surveyed lines and the existing conditions.
Okay. And you can also submit a copy of that to Mr. Woods?
Yes, I will. As soon as I get that, it'll go to Mr. Woods and you guys. The only thing I did have a question was if it was okay if I put loam and hydro seed in better preparation to keep the land that's there from washing away. I mean, I do have the silt fence and the wattle, but I'd love to get some real grass there so nothing washes away if we start getting intense storms this spring until we can
I
finish.
think you need to wait. I think we need to see what's what in terms of the property line, and then at that point we can see what you can do, and I see what the situation is going forward.
Okay.
Okay, good. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us tonight. We have
They're 505 Washington Street. They live behind 505 Washington Street.
okay. We never heard from Mr. Miller, correct? So why don't we continue that, Charlie? That was a 7:05 public hearing. Maybe send him a letter that we expected him to show up. All right. So for 505 Washington Street, gentlemen, good evening.
Hi.
Hi.
We want me.
Yeah, we want you to come up to.
Come up over here.
How you doing?
Can you identify yourself, sir?
Paul Gerard.
Mr. Gerard, where do you live?
Unless you
I live at 108 South Street.
Okay. So you abut 505 Washington Street?
104 does, yes.
Okay.
We own that house as well.
All right. We went out there. We actually, there had been a complaint about snow being dumped behind those businesses 2-3 years ago. They came in, they, I think, removed those items and some other items, and apparently we thought, well, we told you not to do it, don't do it.
Yeah,
And
they used
did
a
it again.
machine to get that snow out of there when you told them not to, also.
Right. So,
That's here to there.
well, what's the condition now? Because we did go out there, it looked like.
Yeah, the snow was there, the trash was there, and my concern is that all the oils from the parking lots, and it's a mechanic. There's nothing stopping, all the driveways, the whole parking lot is pitched towards my land, which is wetland.
Right.
It's all pitched that way, and it's just running rampant.
Okay.
And, we asked them nicely, don't dump your snow here. And they responded with, well, we didn't know. I wasn't in town that day. And they just dumped it there. All right, well, don't let it happen again. Then the next storm, they dumped it there again. It says, oh, it won't happen again because we brought it to you people. The last time, a couple years ago, was you dumped it there, you know you weren't supposed to, you gotta get it out there. I suggested that they don't use a machine, because it is wetlands. You guys told them, don't use a machine, and they blatantly did.
Okay.
And this year, the snow's back there, it's running down, the snow was down, I mean, we didn't have the pictures that we got where after a lot of the snow had melted.
Right.
And then, but that was all going down onto our property. Even the stuff that was still in the parking lot, it's all still draining down into the wetlands. And it's all snow that's been removed. So if I was under the impression that was considered hazardous waste, and it had to be dumped appropriately. Dumping it so that it drains into my property, I don't feel is appropriate. And I do believe that there's oils and other residues from their businesses pouring onto my land.
Okay.
And I just want something done so that they can't do this anymore.
So, okay, I just, for clarification, when you say they're dumping oil and other fluids, how are they doing that? They're putting it in a drain?
I didn't say they were dumping oil. I'm saying the oils, it's a machine, a mechanical shop.
Right.
There's oils and stuff that gets tracked around, it gets in the parking lots drain into our land.
Okay.
But they're not, I haven't seen them deliberately going out there dumping a gallon of oil,
Right. And
but it's ending up somewhere.
I'm not suggesting that either, but
Right.
you're saying basically there's a sheen of oil or other fluids, and that's just making its way.
Well, if you look at the wetlands, it certainly looked like there was oils in the water.
Okay.
I
And
mean, you might have pictures, I don't know if you took pictures or not.
Now, looking at the plan that we have here from 2012, how far back does your property extend, would you say? Like here's, hold on. Here's the building, and I believe it's that corner right there where there's a Jersey barrier, but it's not even all the way over there.
Right.
And the way it's flowing, it's all going in there anyways. But
Our land goes up to where the line between the old Aronson and Patrick,
okay,
right there, straight across, that's where our land goes.
because when Allison and I
Yeah.
and Michelle went there 2 Saturdays ago,
Right.
we walked all the way down, and even where Patrick Volkswagen, they've got stuff, they've got an old fence, they're gonna be coming in front of us, and so is the tire center place. Because it's a big area, it's all wetland, and some of that is grading down sideways, but it's all still ending up in there, and they have to figure out.
And I spent a lot of time walking that and throwing the trash back on their yard. But it just ends up back over there.
Yep.
The big concern, well, I don't want trash there neither.
Right.
And if they're gonna I don't have a problem with them running their business there. We never have. As a matter of fact, they were allowed to work off our property. Fuller was allowed to work on our property to put that latest building in, with the stipulation that they installed and maintained that fence the whole length. That was a stipulation for them, and that was in front of, it wouldn't have been you guys. It would have been the planning board. In front of the planning board, this was the stipulation that they could work off the Whiting land, which is the 104. They could work off of that land, providing they maintained the fence, installed the fence, maintained it, and routinely did a walk through the back along the fence to pick up any of their trash. That has not been done yet.
When was that meeting, do you recall?
Oh, God. How long has that building been up for?
Okay.
It's gonna be,
It was around 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
And so they made that stipulation in front of the planning board.
Yeah.
Was it ever put in writing?
I'm sorry?
Was it ever put in writing?
I don't know. We bought the house from her parents passed, and we bought the house.
Okay,
I wouldn't have that. They would have had it.
okay, all right.
So I don't.
Well, given the fact that it seems to be a recurring issue, although we thought.
Can I just ask a quick question?
Sure, go ahead.
All right, so what's this, is this a Fuller building or is this the other building that's next door?
I'm assuming it's a rental, but it's Fuller's building. Well, they rent it, I guess. I don't know if they own it or
That
not.
other building that was in between, like in between where that fence ended and you could walk between the Jersey barrier and that other space. Because there seemed like we could get down in between where Fuller was. There was like a building and then there was like another some other business that was next door.
It was like Granite Place or something?
That Granite Place.
Right. I
What
don't,
is the Granite Place? Because it seemed like it was the Granite Place that was stacking up a whole bunch of snow over there too.
well, they both do,
The
but
granite
it's-
is in the back of the building.
yeah, that's
the
just,
Granite Place is in
Fuller's
the
in the
back,
front.
right. And I'm not, I'm just saying,
no, no.
I'm just saying that it seems as though a lot of the snow could be coming from that Granite parking lot.
And a lot of it is.
Okay.
I'm not doubting that.
I think
Okay.
that's
But,
Right.
but Fuller does
pushing here.
push their snow over that barrier.
We
And
could
they-
walk through where the Fuller side was.
Right.
We couldn't get through where the Granite Place
No,
was,
it was all blocked
because
in.
that was all full. And that has to be getting down into that wetland too.
All of it is, yeah.
That snow has to be leaching down in there too.
Mhm.
Like it, you know what I mean, all
But you
of
could
that.
get through because it had melted that much.
But-
It was.
But I mean, like if they're both piling up snow, like it would be all piled up. You know what I mean? Like it's not like, it would all be piled up.
But I think Fuller may push it towards that building. There's like a grass, dirt, and there's a berm there with a bunch of trash there. And I think they were pushing it, some of it towards there, but there was a substantial amount.
Right. I just,
It's,
I
quite frankly, it's all of
I
the
agree that
businesses.
it's definitely melting down into, because that's where it's gonna go. It's gonna go downhill from that. But I don't necessarily believe that all of it's coming from the Fuller site.
Well,
I agree.
but
Definitely the other building and the tire place too, like that
Right.
whole area. It's like
all of the businesses are
all the
doing
way
it.
up to Patrick
Right.
Volkswagen.
And we're just getting the remnants of all of them.
So I think we need, and of course, hopefully, we're not gonna have any more snow. I mean, this issue only arises.
They're talking it Friday and Saturday, so.
I didn't wanna hear that.
I know you didn't, but I was just,
At all either.
That's fine. My point though, in all seriousness, is that this issue arises when there's snow. I think we have to have a conversation with them, and I think we need to basically notify all of them and tell them to appear for a meeting.
Yeah, because I don't think it's just Fuller. I think that if we're gonna do this, we need to do all.
do all of them. And see, the problem is, the parking lots, I don't know how that ever came about, but how the parking lots were allowed to pitch towards wetlands
Right.
blows my mind. I mean, if they had a filtration system, like a real, something that's gonna take that, purify it, that would be one thing. But I just, for the life of me, I don't understand how that was allowed.
And I can't answer that.
I'm not asking for an actual answer, I was
But
just,
ironically, I think because in fact they were allowed to put in the parking lots that way, they've actually expanded the wetland behind that area. I think it's bigger than it was or used to be.
yeah, and but it's our land,
I understand that.
you know?
I do.
And I
Yeah.
paid the taxes on it, and I just,
Right.
I feel strongly that this isn't right, and again, and I don't even have an issue with the parking lot being pitched that way, but do something to keep your dirty stuff off my land, that's all.
It seems to me, just a thought, I mean, if you put a berm at the end of the parking lot.
That's way too high for that, it'll go right over it.
put in a
You
berm.
take, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But there'd have to be a drain there too.
Understood. All right.
You know, you'd have to, because that would build up, I'd say there's at least a 2-foot rise from the front of the building to the back of the building. I'll bet you it's more than that, but I'll say 2 feet. So you'd have to put a berm in. And again, if that's the answer and they want to put a filtration system there, I have no problem with that. None at all, just something to protect my property, that's all.
So, this is my thought. My thought is that I think we need to do a little more research. I think we need to figure out who we contact, and then we schedule this for a hearing. And you'd be invited obviously to attend. As you've said, this is not a new issue. It's been an ongoing issue.
Right.
And I think in order to resolve it for you and just to resolve the problems so that they don't occur again, we get everyone in here and we try to come up with a plan where they all comply so that it doesn't happen again.
And that would be great, and that's quite frankly, that's all we're asking for.
I understand. It's like, but you know, we have to get other people to agree.
And that's fine. We'll get together and we'll hash it out and.
All right, so, is there a motion?
Make a motion that we ask the other businesses besides Fuller, the Tire Place, the Grand Place, and Patrick Volkswagen, who still has an ongoing project, to come before this board with these 5 people and get together and figure out a plan so that we can stop this
Okay.
for the next winter season. So it's not an issue anymore.
Is 2 weeks gonna be enough time? Or should we schedule it maybe for the end of April?
I said the end of April.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Sure, that would give us some time to pull the site plan approvals and see what's in the order.
That'd be great.
Because I think we need the site plan approvals, if he's saying that they had a plan together, and, like, if they didn't, isn't there a snow removal thing that's in any of the building kind of stuff? Isn't there something
It
that's
would
put
have
in
to be,
place?
it would have to be a condition of their site
See,
plan.
It would have to be a condition of their site plan, shouldn't we try and pull that?
We
Yeah, we'll
should,
pull the
but-
site plan approvals.
But
and see
they've
what we
been
got.
there, I mean, for all I
That's
know,
what I
they've
did.
been there for, you know, before, I mean, I've been on the commission for over 25
Right.
years, and I don't recall them
I know.
ever appearing before, so I think, my hunch is that if they did appear before the commission, well, I don't know, in the 80s or 90s, that snow removal may not have been included as one of the conditions, but we can find out, and we need, like, you know, we do need to do research, so, all right, why don't we schedule this then for, the meeting on April 27th? And, I can, we can put together a letter and make sure that all the businesses are notified. And we'll notify, and we'll send you a copy too, sir.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Okay. All right, and we can even schedule that, for 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
So there's Tom's motion. Was there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
So for some clarification, is this, discussion that we'll be having solely around the issue of trash, like keeping debris and snow melt out of the wetland? Or, I mean, obviously runoff from just rain is also going to contribute,
I think it's gonna be-
oils,
I think it's gonna be
etc.
everything.
I'm kind of just curious about the scope of what we're wanting to discuss at this.
It's gonna be
Next.
protecting the wetland.
I think it's gonna be taking steps to make sure that wetland is not contaminated by oil or other fluids and, or debris, so I think it's everything pretty much.
Okay.
And, if it's, honestly, looking at it, if it's, what kind of a wetland it is it a wet meadow? I mean, there's oak trees growing out of it, I think. Is it a wet meadow? What kind of a,
And we may even wanna consider hiring a consultant.
and that's what I was thinking too when I was there. Like, maybe we should have a consultant go out there and actually look at it.
We can do that, we have the funding for it.
Can I make a motion to hire a
You
wetland?
can after we vote on the last motion.
Okay, let's do
So Megan, did I answer your question? Or did we answer your questions?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So
Thank
there's been a motion and a second to notify these people to appear at our meeting on April 27th at 7 o'clock. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right, it's a vote. And Michelle, do you have a motion?
I have a motion to hire a wetland scientist to go out there and actually
Figure out what's
figure
there?
out what's there.
Okay. Is there a second?
Before I second, I have a question.
Sure.
Are we gonna use Graves Engineering, our third party, or do we have to put it out?
No, we need a wetland consultant to do it. Does Margaret still do wetland consulting?
Washburn?
I don't think she did.
We can, I'm sure we can find someone.
I think we can.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay,
I'll second that motion.
all right. Is there any discussion?
Yes, sorry.
Okay, go ahead, Megan. It's fine. We welcome all comment. Usually. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
It's okay. Can we just define exactly what we want for them to the scope of work that we want for them to return to us?
Sure. I think we want to find out exactly what kind of wetland area is there, whether there's any unusual habitat there. What is the source of is there groundwater there, that sort of thing. So just, we're looking for characteristics of the wetland to find out if it's a wet meadow, as Michelle suggested it might be, or what exactly we're dealing with, not only in terms of what it is, but also how large it is too. We'd like to have it basically delineated.
Right, I wanted to.
We'd like to have the wetland delineated.
So like a delineation and a characterization.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. So there's been a motion and there's been a second. Is there any other discussion? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right, it's a vote. All right, terrific. Any other questions?
I got nothing.
All right.
Thanks for your help. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming out.
Guys, have a good one.
You too.
You too. Get some minutes.
Do we have minutes?
Got a couple.
We can go quick on that.
This year, did we do 179 Rochdale yet?
We haven't done.
We have not gone out
I
there.
know we talked about 10 Rotary, but I think we skipped over 179.
Hold on. We also have to do an order of conditions, right?
Yep.
Oh, no, we didn't talk about 179 Rochdale Street.
No, you thought Tony was on the phone for 179.
Yeah, because I think he was the last time.
Right.
So,
We had something for that.
I did a drive-by, like, a while ago on that. Nothing jumped out at me, but,
There's a lot of junk around. I mean, definitely.
well, yeah, but I mean, the question is, does it have a wetland impact? You know, I mean, we can, no. Michelle is shaking her head saying,
Well-
nay, nay, nay.
I don't know. Maybe it's most of the stuff is 100 feet away from the
Well,
road.
yeah, exactly, so we can't, we can't help it if they want to have an eyesore. I understand their concerns, but it doesn't give us jurisdiction. So, I mean, I suppose we can take a look. I don't know that we have to do any sidewalks this weekend, but we'll certainly have to go out before the 13th to go out to 190 Washington Street again, so we can take a look, I guess, at that point. Let's do the minutes and then we can do the order of conditions.
I grabbed the wrong packet last night, so,
I would like this, sorry.
sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
You thought you were getting it out
I
of it.
thought I was so getting out of it. Okay.
Busted. I actually did read these,
I have to abstain from this one.
so see, it's not a big deal. Okay, all right, so for the meeting minutes of August 25th of 2021, which seems like a really long time ago, is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second? Patrick, can you second?
My second.
All right, is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Abstain.
Aye.
Aye.
and Catherine abstains too.
Yes.
Okay. One down. 12. Okay, next one. Okay, meeting minutes for September 8th of 2021. I have no corrections to these. Does anyone have any corrections for the meeting minutes of September 8th?
I move that we accept the meeting minutes for September 8th of 2021.
Is there,
I'll second that.
all right, is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And Megan, you have to abstain because you weren't, I'm sorry, you were present, my apologies. Okay. Next one is September 22nd. corrections for the meeting minutes of September 22nd. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to accept the meeting minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oh, sorry, I have to rescind that. I was absent at that meeting.
Okay.
Aye.
For the 22nd?
He was absent.
I was absent.
No, you were here, you came in late. You
Oh,
came
that was the
after
one I
we
came in
started.
late. You're right. That was the one I
You came in
late.
after we started.
Yep.
So I was gonna say, I'm reading it and going, you made motions, how are
I'm
you?
looking at these and I'm like, so
It
familiar
says
with every stuff.
absent,
All right.
so we should correct
So,
that.
okay, so
Yeah.
we,
If you read down a little further, he
Yeah,
came
Tom,
in
present
later.
person.
Came in
I'll
the
get you.
first hearing.
all right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. They don't have to be amended.
Okay.
All right. So I have a question. We jumped from September 22nd to October 27th. Does that mean we didn't have a meeting on October 13th?
We did not.
Why not?
We had
It was
meetings.
canceled. We had no hearings. We had no new.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yep.
right. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so the next meeting minutes are October 27th. I have no corrections.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes for October 27th, 2021.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 The next meeting minutes are from November 10th.
So on those, it doesn't, the votes are all 5-0-0, but it looks like there's more. Oh, no, sorry, that was absent, not, never mind, that's the one I was at. Forget it.
Okay. No, we did have a quorum on November 10th.
Okay. Oh, wait, who's the fifth person?
Well, again, what happened, Megan, I think, is that you were maybe a little bit late, and then you attended. You see that?
Oh, okay, I see, never mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have no corrections.
Make a motion to accept November 10th, 2021.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second that.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Abstain.
Aye.
Aye.
Patrick, you can't, because you were not here present. Okay.
I abstain then.
Thank you, sir. And then, last but not least, are the meeting minutes for December 8th. And once again, I have no corrections to the meeting minutes for December 8th. Is there a motion?
So,
Make a motion to accept the meeting minutes.
For December 8th, the
December
2020.
2020.
All right, is there a second?
I second.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
abstain.
Aye.
Okay, very good. All right. All right, and I think our last order of business is the order conditions for 35 Swanson Road.
I make a motion that we issue for 35 Swanson Road, a standard order of conditions plus the following special conditions. Numbers 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 9, 11, 13, and also the stipulation that they clean out all the road grindings and other debris located between the existing location of the dumpsters and the wetlands.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right, it's a vote. Is there any other new business? Oh, do you want a copy?
Yeah, but I could do it with this.
Okay. If there is no new business, is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, it's a vote. All right, everyone, thank you very much for participating tonight, and we'll be in touch regarding sidewalks, but it will not be this weekend.
Okay, so I need your telephone number.
7